market reacts to the news of the day, but on the long run, you can see a curve smooth out and in one direction, upwards. Welcome to another edition of our podcast series right here. Pierre Tomacek is back. All right. Why didn't the tariffs come on so he could have gone somewhere?
No, if the tariffs came on, I'm staying in Canada.
All Canadian. Made in Canada.
I'm made in Canada. All my trips will be in Canada.
So you can still have your American beer.
Who says I drink?
So we spoke about, I think it was 2 weeks ago. We talked about the uncertainty with the tariffs coming on. There's a likelihood that we had to be prepared, ensure our emergency fund is in order, because you're not sure what's going to happen.
Exactly.
So we know for sure now it's not going to be 30 days. So that still doesn't guarantee that it's not going to be there for, not forever, right? So there's still a likelihood that we can have tariffs.
Yeah. So here's the thing that we know.
Yeah.
We're going to have 4 years of uncertainty.
Oh.
Right? With what's going on right now in the U.S., there's going to be uncertainty. And the one thing that the markets do not like is uncertainty. Right? So we saw the Canadian dollar drop. We saw the Toronto stock market also drop. Right. Yeah, it did rebound. But the main reason we're seeing these drops is that because we don't know what's coming next. Right? So here's what I saw. I saw people's true risk tolerance come into play.
Right.
Because if you've got a plan which is kind of stretched over 10 years or more, then this is just a blip when we see along that particular journey. So if you're worried about the money that you have invested, supposedly for the long term, then your risk tolerance is not really growth. Your risk tolerance is probably safety of capital.
Right.
And you shouldn't have been invested in the markets in the first place. You should have some money in emergency funds for liquidity in terms of this uncertainty. And then the rest of your money, will be there for the long term that you don't touch. Right.
So me calling you frantically on the day that the tariffs were announced, in the den of night, and we retaliated, and I shouldn't have panicked.
Exactly.
Because if I'm invested, I'm invested in high quality stocks that are able to ride the wave of uncertainty.
Exactly. So let me answer that question. The money that you have invested, was it earmarked for something short term? Were you going to use it to go back to Guyana? Were you going to buy a car in the next 6 to 12 months?
No. So I was hoping that money that I have invested would, when I get to your stage in life, hopefully, I can be able to take back some of that, go back home or go to travel the world somewhere. So it's not there for my immediate use.
So therefore, if what history have shown us is that there's a pattern, things kind of repeat itself. Go back 2008. When the financial crisis 2008-2009 hit, and then the financial crisis hits, the markets drop 32%.
Right.
So a lot of people panicked. And then what happened in 2009?
Went back up.
It rebounded 34%.
Right.
So the people that panic missed on that particular rally. And then where's it been since then?
Yeah, it's been going upward. And then it took a pause in 2020.
Exactly.
Came back down, but then it's been going up ever since.
Exactly. So yes, we're going to have these periods. We're going to see this. So here's my advice. If you're not able to weather those storms, then please do not put your money in the markets, because you're going to lose your hair. You're going to be stressed out. Put it into a money market fund. Put it into a GIC, a high interest savings account. These things, you're not going to make a lot of money. All right, probably around the 3 to 4% range. But at least you'll be able to sleep at night, and I won't get these calls early in the morning while I'm sleeping. What do I do?
What am I gonna do? I'm gonna have to buy some US dollars.
Exactly.
people were stocking up on the U.S. dollars when they heard the news on the Friday, and afraid that the Canadian dollar did take a hit. But we've seen from then it's gradually coming back up. So again, as you said, there are periods where the market reacts to the news of the day, but on the long run, you can see a curve smooth out in one direction, upwards.
Exactly.
That's where we're going.
So, and if you're one of my students, you've heard this analogy that I use. It's like going to Winners. Why do people go to Winners? They go to Winners because we've got quality investment brand names that are at a discount, right?
That's right.
At a lower price.
Right.
So, yesterday or the day before the tariffs announcement, we had quality investments that were valued here. And then for whatever reason, they were discounted. So what do you do when there's a sale?
You buy.
Yeah, or you buy more. Instead of buying one, you buy two. So if you are truly an aggressive or growth investor, you would have seen this as a buying opportunity, because there was nothing wrong with TD, Royal Bank, or Nvidia, prior to the tariffs announcements, right? So it just was 10% on sale, 15% on sale. So buy more, because we know in the long run, 5 to 6, 10 years, it should rebound.
It should be rebounding.
Exactly.
So one of the things that I also saw in the news recently was that the president of the United States saying that the U.S. banks are not allowed to operate in Canada.
Yes.
Do you feel that now has to be a demand for the U.S. banks to be a part of the Canadian economy?
Here's the thing. They're already here.
They're here.
Right? So there's a kernel of truth. So the one thing I like about conspiracy theories is that there's always a little kernel of truth that people take with it. So the reality is the U.S. banks and foreign banks are here. So we see Citi, we see PNC, Chase Manhattan. All of these are here, but they've chosen a niche for themselves, right? So they mainly go after the corporate or commercial banking side, whereby we do have protectionist aspects, whereby they cannot just come in and be a chartered bank or a Schedule I bank, because this is primarily for domestic. So we let them in, but we don't let them fully in. So what they do want is kind of have full access, right? And if they do, then the big 5 banks may have a bit of competition, and unfortunately, our government does not allow for that. It's kind of the same thing when it comes to our mobile phones, or in that particular industry. Verizon forever in the U.S. has been wanting to come to Canada. But if Verizon comes, Verizon is kind of the size of Bell, Bell Mobility, Rogers, Shaw's no longer there, and TELUS put together. So you could see what would happen if we let him into the marketplace. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. Yes, Donald Trump is probably right. He probably, we are a bit protectionist in a lot of industry, so he wants us to give Americans more access than we're providing.
And sometimes that might be a good thing with competition and everything, that might help. But it also, as you said, our banks were able to withstand some of the brunt of the 2008 financial crisis. So maybe not twinker too much with that at all.
So here's the thing, be careful what you wish for. All right, be careful what you wish for. You might get it, because if the U.S. banks do come to Canada, then they have to follow our regulatory rules, right? And we're kind of handcuffed a lot of times, but to our benefit, exactly like you said, 2008. 2009, financial crisis didn't really, it was a blip in Canada, whereby in the U.S. it was a major apocalypse per se. So that's because of all the rules and regulations that we have here. And typically, American banks or corporations, they don't like our rules and regulation. They basically say we've got too many rules and too much regulations.
All right. So thank you. We're all caught up on all that's happened over the last couple of weeks. And happy Valentine's Day as well.
So have you bought your significant other?
So
you're not answering the question.
I think we had a couple of weeks ago we were listening and we said would you take your Valentine to the $9.99 date at IKEA? Would you do it? If you use your is it romantic if you use your points on your credit card or whatever you have to go to a restaurant, or does it have to be physical money?
It's the destination, it's the thought that counts. If I'm taking my significant other to
based on points
to IKEA, no points. Points is fine.
Okay,
points is fine. But if I'm taking her to IKEA,
for $9.99,
we've got a problem, right? So we're probably if you've accumulated enough points, and then you could take him to the Ritz-Carlton. What's wrong with that, right? So
it's your money.
For me, our church group are having a banquet, a Valentine's banquet this evening. So that's where I'm gonna be with my significant other.
That was
so
free.
where are you
That's
gonna
free.
be? It's not free.
Oh, okay.
It is not free.
Okay.
It's dress up. Unlike I'm gonna have to.
We left our best outfit for tonight, not now.
So. Before we end it, so don't deflect. What are you doing?
It's Friday. Not much, heading for the weekend.
Two can die for $19.99.
There you go. We should ask. We're gents. We should ask our director behind the camera. Would you appreciate a $9.99 at IKEA?
For sure.
For sure. You see,
you buy that?
She doesn't. So if your significant other uses points or IKEA $9.99 to treat you for Valentine's Day, you're fine with that.
I'm fine.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. Easy to please.
Who knew?
Who are we? All right, there you go. So happy Valentine's Day from all of us here at TFT, and the love is in the air. You can feel the love here. All right, for $9.99. All right, so like, subscribe, share. Thank you for watching today, and we'll be back next week for another episode here on our podcast series. Take care.
Bye.